So here we are, nearly 20 years after the C6 Corvette first hit our streets. And guess what? This thing still packs a punch. Sure, newer models have come along. We have the C7 and most recently, the C8. But there's just something about that C6, and it's far from being forgotten. In fact, it's a favorite among car enthusiasts, and for good reason. So why? Why is a car released back in 2005 still relevant today for us to even discuss? First up, performance. The C6 came with the 6-liter V8 LS2 engine, pushing out around 400 horsepower, and that's just the base model. And if you're talking about the Z06, well, that thing rocks a 7-liter LS7, cranking out a beastly 505 horsepower. Even today, it can still compete with modern cars on both the street and the track. Another reason people love this platform is the car's balance. The C6 offers an incredible front-to-rear weight distribution, making it a joy to handle, whether you're tearing up the track or cruising the highway. The C6 just feels right. Now, let's dive into one of the reasons why the C6 Corvette is such a legend in the tuning world: the engines. LS2 and LS3, found in the C6, are absolute favorites among car enthusiasts for several reasons. Starting with the LS2, which came in the early C6 models. This 6-liter V8 is a powerhouse in its own right, but what really makes it shine is how tunable it is. The LS2 has a strong block, and thanks to its simplicity, it's an ideal platform for upgrades. Whether you're adding forced induction like a supercharger or a turbo, or just doing bolt-ons and tuning the ECU, the LS2 responds incredibly well to mods. You can easily push this engine into the 500+ horsepower range with relatively basic upgrades. Then we've got the LS3, introduced in the later C6 models. This engine is a slightly bigger 6.2-liter V8, and it came stock with 430 horsepower. What's crazy is how tuners love this engine even more than the LS2. Why? Well, the LS3 has improved cylinder heads, larger intake valves, and better airflow. All of this means the LS3 is even more responsive to modifications. Whether it's cam swaps, headers, or tuning, people have seen massive gains. It's not uncommon to see an LS3 pushing well over 600 horsepower with a bit of love. Both engines are naturally aspirated and built tough, which means they can handle a lot of power without needing major internal upgrades. Plus, because they're part of Chevy's LS family, there's a massive aftermarket support network. Parts are affordable and easy to find, making it possible for people to build serious performance machines without going bankrupt. The LS2 and LS3 aren't just engines, they're platforms for creativity, and that's why they continue to be favored among tuners even nearly 20 years after the C6 was first introduced. Now, let's talk about the design. The C6 Corvette's design stands out as a key factor in its lasting appeal. It moved away from the pop-up headlights of previous generations, embracing a more modern and aggressive look with fixed headlights, which many felt gave it a sleeker, sportier appearance. Its low-slung, wide stance and flowing lines make it instantly recognizable as a Corvette, but with a more refined European supercar-inspired silhouette. The C6 balanced retro design cues, like the muscular rear fenders, with modern aerodynamics. This made it not only look fast, but also perform well at high speeds by reducing drag. The C6 generation improved its handling and agility, and gave it a tighter, more performance-focused aesthetic. The interior was also upgraded, offering a more driver-focused cockpit with higher quality materials, reflecting Chevrolet's intent to elevate the Corvette to a true world-class sports car. Even 19 years later, the C6's styling continues to attract enthusiasts who appreciate its blend of classic muscle and European supercar styling. This keeps it relevant, especially when considering its price on the used car market. In addition to all that, with Chevrolet's well-known reliability, especially in these year models, makes its age irrelevant and a very viable and practical option even today.